Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Um, I've done a video like this on my channel before, and this is basically just a follow-up to a specific video that I did. So, you guys know by now, if you've followed me for a while, I lost my dad this past year, on March 12th of last year. Um, and I asked on my Instagram, I think, if you guys would want to see a follow-up video on kind of what life is like a year later. And some of you did respond to that question, so I think I posted it on my Facebook maybe too. I can't remember. But anyway, some of you liked that comment, so I decided that I was going to do a video follow-up. I don't even really know where to start, to be honest, because this past year has kind of felt like a blur, to be honest with you, but I have had a lot of, it's been very emotional all at the same time, and the feelings that I've had and emotions that I've had are all still fairly raw to me. So it's kind of like vivid and blurry at the same time, which I know is probably sounds weird to some of you who might not have ever lost someone that you were really close to, or you maybe haven't gone through something like this before. But and so maybe some of what I'm gonna say in this video might not make sense to you, but bear with me. So, where to start? So, I lost my dad on March 12th of this past year, 2015, and it was very sudden for us. He had not been feeling very well for a couple of months prior to, and I guess partly being a guy, partly being kind of stubborn, he didn't go to the doctor. And looking back now, it's kind of ironic to when it started because it started at the beginning of his hunting season. My dad happened to be an avid hunter, and we had a group of our family members, my uncles and friends of his, and my brother as well, who all were in kind of like a committee, I guess, together. I don't really, it's not a committee, it's not a club, but they had a property. My dad had a property, and these guys all kind of got together and hosted this get together, I guess, for every fall season. So, for those of you who might not know about, how that works, for people who hunt, that's kind of what they do. So my dad had a 2 week, or they had a 2 week period with, I think, a week in between, to where they just went and had a good time, pretty much. So anyways, it was kind of ironic that it happened, it started then, because this, for anybody that knew my dad, this was like his thing, and it was really something that he loved to do. So yeah, it was just really weird that it happened then. But, anyways, he went in January, I believe, of last year. He started in the hospital process with testing and everything, and, by, I guess, end of January, beginning of February, they found that he had pancreatic cancer, and it happened to be stage 4 when they found it. And his doctor gave him 6 months to live. And my dad unfortunately only lasted seven weeks from the date that he was diagnosed. So I kind of feel like the 6 month mark is kind of what they tell anybody going through cancer, through any type of cancer, um, because they can't really like specifically tell you, this is when it's gonna happen, the ball's gonna drop, so to speak, um, because they don't know, they can't tell you that. So I kind of think, 6 months is just like a ballpark that they give you, but I don't really know. So anyway, they gave him 6 months, and he lasted 7 weeks, as I said. Um, and yeah, that 7 weeks now kind of seems like a bit of a blur in and of itself. um, we spent a lot of time at home, obviously. I actually got to the point after we found out that I was ready to move home. I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be in my apartment. I was just ready to, have it all in. And I mean, I think that's kind of normal that when you find out that, someone you're close to is sick in that sense, that I think you just automatically want to drop everything and be with them. But my dad was very adamant that he wanted things to go on and he didn't want to be doted over. He didn't want to be, the center of attention. My dad wasn't ever really that type of guy on the best of days that, he wanted to be the center of attention. He was never really that type. So, um, why would that change when he got sick? Um, so needless to say, I didn't move home and my mom said, it wasn't an option. And so, yeah, we just kind of had to go move forward and he pretty much, it's funny thinking back because he did not really look sick. I think to me anyway, he only had like a few days where he looked really pale and you could tell toward the end that he was kind of losing weight and he was absolutely in a lot of pain and I think in a lot more pain than he was letting on, particularly toward the end. Um, but yeah, he didn't really look sick, for the most part. So that was kind of good in a sense, I guess. And we were very lucky in a way because, before my dad died, he got to spend, we had a curling thing that my dad's family has started doing. We used to do it when I was a kid, and I guess life happened for the majority of people, so we just kind of stopped it for a while. But the last few years, we've had it restarted, and my dad's family is like ridiculously huge. So, like his extended family and everything. So, even his like immediate family is bonkers. But anyway, so it's for his immediate and extended family that we got together, um, and did this curling weekend. So it was really, really good for him, I think, in that sense, that we had that going on. He was adamant that they not, cancel it or anything like that. And that day that he came, he actually did really, really well. We were all, I think, really surprised at how well he lasted. I mean, I think we started that morning at 8:30, I think. We were all supposed to be at the rink, and he didn't leave until 3 that afternoon. Um, so, I mean, for someone who was sick and not feeling well, that's huge. And obviously he wasn't curling, but I think it really meant a lot to him to be there and to be part of it because, I mean, obviously you knew that, he probably wouldn't see the majority of these people again, and so it was kind of his moment to say goodbye in a lot of ways. Um, Trying not to cry. So yeah, I think that it was good that we moved forward with it, and so after he passed away, it's so weird. I posted on my Facebook, I think, the night that he passed away. I was watching a movie in my room. I was watching a movie on TV, and it's so crazy to me how things work. But a year later to the date, and a year later to the exact time, that same movie was on the exact same channel. From the year before. So how does that work? I don't know, but I was pretty shocked that I happened to want to, something just came across me that same night this past March this March that he wanted, I wanted to see what movies were on, and over the weekends they play a lot of movies, and so I was just scrolling through and I saw it. It was the movie called Soul Surfer, about the girl who got attacked by a shark, and it's a true story. She's actually a competitive surfer, but so weird how it was the exact same movie at the exact same time a year earlier. But anyway, I watched it, and it's been neat to me over even the past 6 months. I would say more so than anything. Um, you guys might remember about 4 years ago, I had mentioned that I lost a really good friend, and he happened to be one of my dad's best friends. He was a neighbor of ours as well. Um, and for the first probably 2 years, 2.5 years after he passed away, I felt him around my apartment very, very strongly. It felt like he was here. And for the first 2.5 years, I was not myself at all, to say the least. And I took it extremely hard. But it's funny because I remember at that point just moving from angry to being sad. And I was just sad all the time after John died. But I had moments of, when I would be upset after he passed away, I had moments of actually feeling like someone was hugging me. Like, I remember sitting on my couch and being upset, and it honestly felt like someone had their arms around me, but no one was here. And it's those moments, I think, that kind of gave me some sort of comfort in a sense that he was okay, and gave me some kind of comfort to be able to move forward. And in the beginning, when my dad passed away, I didn't have that. I didn't feel him here. And one of my friends who was actually intuitive had told me that it's because I had too much emotional baggage that I was kind of experiencing, I guess, from the loss. And it's like it was like a barrier, I guess, that he just couldn't get through, or his spirit couldn't get through. So that's why in the beginning I wasn't feeling him around. And I still remember, I don't remember the day exactly, but I remember a moment about, probably about 6 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago, where it literally felt like someone was holding my hand. And, for anybody who knows us, that's what my dad and I always used to do. So when I felt that, I knew it was him. And, again, it kind of gave me comfort to know that he was okay. And in some way, he was here. Um, and I met someone else who, is also intuitive, and, she did a reading on me, and this was before that moment happened. She said there's someone standing next to you, and it's a man, and she described to a T exactly what my dad looked like. And I remember stopping her in mid-sentence and going, holy shit, that's my dad. And she said, he sits with you almost every day. She said he sits on your bed beside you almost every day. And, she asked me, do you ever have moments where you feel like someone's holding your hand? So obviously I said yes. And I said it's funny to me because that's something that my dad and I used to do all the time. And she said it's him trying to tell you that he's here. So, obviously when she described him and she told me this, I like freaked. Um, and it's funny, my previous friend who told me about John, um, she described things that she wouldn't have known about him had I not, unless I had said something to her, which I hadn't. She described exactly what he looked like, and she didn't know him. She hadn't seen pictures of him, so, it's things like that that just kind of, how do you, know? How do you justify something like that? How do you, explain something like that? That they know exactly what he said to me and exactly what he looked like, and she didn't know him, and same with my other friend that talked about my dad. I mean, how would she know that we used to hold hands all the time? But they do, it's I don't know how these things work, and I don't really know too much about, spirituality and that sort of thing, but I really, really think that there is something to it, because honestly, unless I had said something to her and to my other friend about them, they wouldn't have known. And I didn't say anything about them. They hadn't ever seen pictures of my dad or John. They had never known them. They don't even live in the same state as I do, in the same country that I do. It blows me out of the water how these people, pick up on this stuff. But obviously there's something to it. Anyway, so it's interesting since then because I have felt my dad here, and um, every so often it feels like someone is holding my hand, and I believe it's him. I believe it's my dad. And my cat, I've noticed, has been acting kind of funny once in a while, that he'll sit at my bedroom door, like looking into the room, or he'll want to stay in the room when I leave, and normally he never does that. Normally he's like, he beats me to the couch kind of thing. Um, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it's nothing, but I think animals are very sensitive to these kind of things, like, how dogs are sensitive to hearing thunderstorms way before we do, that kind of thing. I think it's the same kind of premise that, I think, feels something here or sees something here. Um, and it's funny, the last time he was in my room, I have an old sweater that my dad used to wear, and in the last few years, I have worn it a lot at my parents' house. So my mom gave it to me, and I had it lying on the edge of my bed, and my cat was just kind of lying beside it, but he had his paw kind of on the arm of it. And normally, like when he finds a sweater or something of mine, he'll be like rolled up in it, kind of thing. But just the way he was lying beside it, I don't know. It just kind of, I thought maybe, do you feel something? Do you see something? It's really been interesting to see how he has reacted, and he's really reacted to me being upset quite often as well. He's been very, like, especially in the beginning, because I was not myself in the beginning whatsoever. I was very just like checked out. I was I don't even know how to describe it. I was just so overwhelmed, I think, and so um I was checked out. That's all I can chalk it up to. That I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know, what my next step was. I didn't know where I was headed. I didn't have any focus. I couldn't focus. And in the beginning, it took me probably a good 3 months to be able to leave my house, to be able to get back on the bus again, and go anywhere. I couldn't handle crowds. I couldn't handle people. I was checked out. I was done. And I don't remember exactly again when it happened, but something clicked at one point that it was like a light bulb went off, and I thought, okay, enough's enough. I have to pick up. I have to keep going, and I have to move forward. I have to find a focus. And, I mean, yeah, I've said this before, I think, but even looking back at old videos, you can completely tell, I think, that it's like the lights are on but nobody's home. And I don't even know how I did those videos. I don't know how I got through them because it literally looks like I'm just zoned out. Um, but yeah, I think that's really, even when my dad got sick, not so much after he passed away. Well, yeah, after he passed away too, but when he got sick, I felt like I really needed, when I kind of came to again. But even when we first originally found out he got sick, I had a while there where I needed something to do. Before I had zoned out, I needed something to focus on, and I think that's really why I jumped into my channel and I jumped into doing videos all the time, because I needed a place where I didn't have to think, and I needed a place where I could be happy, and makeup and, doing my hauls and all that kind of stuff is happy for me. And it's a place where I don't have to think. It's a moment in time where I don't have to think, because I just know innately what I'm doing. And so I think that has really, really been good for me. But then the moment came where I was really starting to feel things and really starting to have that sort of emotional roller coaster, so to speak. Um, and I think there was a time after my dad died that I took a break. There was. And I definitely needed that, because at that point I was I was really checked out. I was done. And my goose was cooked, as my dad would have said. um, but it really was. I was not in a place where I could continue this. And um, then in September, again, something changed, or something clicked, and I thought, okay, I need to, again, have a focus, but I need that focus to be me. And, um, when the whole thing with YouTube happened, that I couldn't film, I couldn't record on YouTube, so that hiatus happened. But I think that was good for me too, because I think it happened at the same time or around the same time that I started focusing on myself. And that in itself has been good for me, because I never really have done that, funnily enough. And it's always for me been about everyone else, and about, the friendships that I had, and um, all that kind of thing. I've never put myself first in anything when it's come to people. Um, and so it was my real opportunity to be able to do that. And in a lot of ways, starting in September, I really kind of cleaned house, so to speak. I got rid of a lot of people in my life. And, um, I ended a lot of friendships, and, um, I started putting me first. And I thought, I really kind of took an inventory, I guess, of what's going on in my life, and how can I fix it? How can I be in a better place? How can be in a more positive space? And because I kind of have to a point been that way, but I've never been 100% happy with my life. I've never been 100% happy with me. And so I think that's sort of, in my opinion, kind of the bigger goal here. Um, Starting from September, what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. Because I needed to make myself healthier. I needed to make myself happier. And with a lot of the people that I had in my life, I couldn't do that because they weren't good people for me. Um, And so, yeah, I think that's been a really positive thing for me. I think that it's helped me to maybe gain perspective on my relationship with my dad in a way too, that, I have been able to step back and, maybe realize why some of the things were said that we said and why some of the things happened, and um, I've learned things about my dad since he died as well, and it all is kind of making sense to me now. So, um, I don't know. I really do believe that things happen for a reason, and I haven't quite figured out what the reason for this was or is. Um, but I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that maybe it was to maybe put me, when it comes to me, to maybe put me in a better light, maybe put me in a healthier space. Because my dad and I had always had kind of issues, I guess, when it came to my business, and that was a real sore spot for me, and is something that I feel now very regretful for. I've never lived my life with regrets, and I'm finding that now I kind of have a lot of regrets, and they all have to do with me and my dad. Because I've realized things about my relationship with him, and I just there's things about myself that I now realize that I don't like, and I don't like the way that some things between he and I went down, and hindsight's 2020, that whole thing. Um, so yeah, it's made me realize a lot, and it's made me kind of take into account, I guess, how I want to change things from here, like to move forward. Um, so yeah, I don't really know what else to say, but I think the biggest thing that I've taken from this is that life is too short, and you, at the end of the day, you can't have regrets. And so if I do now, which obviously now I'm feeling regretful, I need to find a way to change it. I need to find a way to fix it. Because it's just going to, inevitably, it's just going to tear me apart. Inevitably, it's going to drag me down. And I know that my dad would not want that. Um, so yeah, it's since September has really been a time for me, I guess, and a time for me to focus on me. And as I said, I've realized a lot in the last few months, in the last year, and it's kind of now time, I think, to just put the pieces back together. And it's not going to happen overnight. It hasn't happened in the last year, um, but it will in time. And at the end of the day, I think that's what my dad would want. He wouldn't want us to be upset. He wouldn't want us to be just stuck. And I've kind of been feeling stuck in some ways. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at this point. Just sort of trying to focus on myself and trying to move forward. But I guess I don't really like to give advice on these kind of things because everybody deals with it in their own time and everybody deals with it in their own way. But what I would say, I guess, is to spend as much time with your family as possible. And that's been an interesting thing to me too, is that going through, I've lost people before, but I've never lost anybody as close as a parent. And so this has been like a whole different ballgame for me. Um, but it's been interesting because you really, in something like this and going through something like this, you really see who is going to be there for you and who isn't, and who really cares about you for the right reasons and who doesn't. And that's been interesting to me to realize that. And that's what I mean when I say that I've cut a lot of people out of my life because um, in this year, in this moment in my life, I was not any kind of priority to them, and it wasn't fair to me. Especially in situations where I've done a lot for certain people, and um, I just didn't feel that I got that respect back. Um, and I mean, if you care about someone, you're going to be there for them no matter what. And these people that I have removed from my life just weren't. So, um, yeah, it's been interesting in that way to see, you know, who I am important to and who I'm not. So anyway, I guess my advice, would be to you guys to really spend as much time with your family as you can, or with whoever is going through this, um, and say whatever it is you need to say, because we, as myself and my family, we didn't get that opportunity with my dad because my dad wasn't ready to talk about it. And I felt like, I don't know if this is true, but I felt like he was just kind of getting his head around things, and he was coming to a point where he might have been okay to talk about it by the time he passed away. So, it was just really bad timing in that sense that, he never got the chance to really talk to us. And my mom and him had conversations that he didn't really want to talk about his illness and his being sick. And I mean, it's a lot to take in. It felt like getting punched in the stomach, to be honest, when they told us. So when the doctor told him, I can't even imagine how he felt. Um, I mean, how do you prepare for that? How are you ready for that ever? It just, there's no way to be ready for something like that. So, um, yeah, it was just shitty timing in that he didn't get the opportunity to talk to us. And that's been kind of hard for me too, that, I kind of find myself wondering at times what would dad have said to me, or how would that conversation have gone with him. And it's really kind of left me wondering what he would have said. Because I don't know what he would have said, or, how it would have went. And it sucks because it's something that I will now never know. But, c'est la vie, as I always say. um, anyway, I hope in some way that this video was helpful to you guys. I know I was just kind of rambling. I didn't have any notes or didn't have any kind of like structure to what I wanted to say. I don't really think this is the type of video that you can actually plan out. And I mean, it's a very sore subject for me. It's a very touchy subject still for me. It's only been a year. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it ever becomes not a sore subject or a touchy subject. I mean, he was my dad, and how do you ever get past that? So anyway, I hope that in some way this video was helpful to you guys, and I thank you so much for your support in my last one. Your likes and comments and everything mean a lot to me. And I know in that one I got quite a few views and likes and such, so I really do appreciate the support in whatever way you guys want to give it. Yeah. So I guess all I would say to kind of wrap this up is to, if you're going through something like this, to spend every moment you can with the person that's dealing with it, and I don't know, just take it day by day, I guess. Like I said, there's not really any way to kind of plan this. There's not any way to really kind of navigate through it. You just have to go day by day. And it's a touchy thing also because everybody deals with loss differently and everyone deals with grief differently. I know, with losing my friend to losing my dad, it was a completely different scenario because John wasn't my dad. He was like a dad to me, but he wasn't my dad. So, I remember with him, like I said, being angry to being sad for a very long time. But with my dad, when my dad got sick and when he passed away, it was like a roller coaster of emotion. You are angry, you are sad, you are grief stricken, you are a basket case, you're emotional, you are I would kind of call myself oblivious in the beginning. I was, like I said, completely zoned out, like the lights were on, nobody's home. It's insane thinking back to the wake that I was actually smiling at the wake because I was just so out of it that I couldn't feel anything. I was numb. I was completely numb. I mean, who laughs being in a wake? And who smiles being in a wake? And I remember consoling other people, like other family members, going through the lineup because people were a basket case with me and they're apologizing to me for, being so upset. And I'm sitting there going, it's okay. Not that it's not a big deal, but it's okay that you're, upset and everything. Normally, I would be a freaking basket case and, you know, crying and screaming and blah, 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 but I was just so emotionally numb for that whole period. It was probably 3 months at least, maybe longer, that, I mean, I was just done. I was checked out. So, everybody deals with it differently and everybody, works through it differently. So, that's something that I also would kind of be careful with, I guess. When you're dealing with other people, I think it's important to not rush anyone else. Sorry, I have something in my eye. It's important to not rush anyone else and definitely not rush yourself. It's not a race to get to, feeling yourself again. And to be honest, I don't think you ever will feel yourself again. And it's just like my mom calls it, our new normal. And it truly is. It truly is the new normal at this point. We really have had to figure out, and we still are, I think, figuring out how to move forward and how to navigate through this, how to move into the next chapter, so to speak. Um, so, I don't ever think that it goes away, but I do think the pain and the emptiness um, gets easier. And I can say that because it has for me. I'm definitely in a different spot than I was a year ago. Um, mind you, we just had my dad's 1 year anniversary, and there's certain parts of this process that I feel like maybe I've slipped back into, um, in terms of grieving and everything. But honestly, I feel like that's okay. We just had his 1 year, and it's not going to be easier overnight. It's not going to be better overnight. So I think just being kind to yourself and kind to the people who are going through this is really, really important. And also, as I mentioned, finding something like I found my YouTube channel. I honestly think my YouTube channel kind of saved me in a way. Because if I hadn't had that, I don't think I would be doing half as well as I had been, um, because I didn't have anything else to put my focus into. And so I would suggest finding something to focus on, finding something where, like I said, you don't have to think and you don't have to put any kind of real, um, energy, I guess, into. You can just do it. You just know what you're doing and you can just innately do it, you know. And my YouTube channel was that for me, that it was a place where I didn't have to think, and it really, really did save me, I feel like. Um, so, yeah, that's kind of my update. I don't really know what else to add. I don't really think there is anything else to add. So, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to those of you who wanted to see this update. And I really, again, really do appreciate all of your support in whatever way you show me. I really appreciate you being here, your subscribing to my channel, the comments that I get, the likes that I get, the likes that I get on my Instagram, comments that I get on my Instagram. I love interacting with you guys, and I really, really do appreciate you being here. Because like I said, if it was not for my channel, I don't know where I would be, to be honest. So I guess it's in big part thank you to you guys. Because I'm really doing my channel for you. So, thanks. Um, anyway, I hope that you liked this video, and I hope that there was something you could take from it. If you have any questions or anything, please leave them below, and I will try my best to answer them the best I can. And I will see you all in the next video. Oh, by the way, too, looking at myself and I totally forgot. This makeup look, what you see here, is, I think it's coming up. I don't think it's posted yet, but I think it's coming up on my channel. It is a Khloe Kardashian makeup look. Khloe Kardashian inspired makeup look. This is what she wore on her, well, similar to what she wore on her TV show. What's it called? Cocktails with Chloe. On the 23rd, on Wednesday, it's similar to what she wore. So I wanted to recreate it. So this is what I came up with. And yeah, it'll be coming up. If it's not already out, it'll be coming up. I don't think it's already out yet. So anyway, look out for that. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.